What if one of the biggest secrets to better health was already sitting in your pantry? Seriously. We're talking about oatmeal, a breakfast so common, so simple, that we kind of take its power for granted. But is eating it every single day a total game changer? Or a mistake? Well, in this explainer, we are going to find out.
So, that's the big question we're tackling. Is oatmeal really the powerhouse breakfast it's made out to be? Or are there some hidden risks to making it a daily habit? We're going to dig into the science, look at the potential side effects, and uncover a benefit you probably haven't even thought of.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack what's actually in oatmeal that makes it so special. Then, we'll get into the science of why it keeps you full. After that, we gotta talk about the risks and side effects. Then, the fun part, how to build the absolute perfect bowl. And we'll wrap up with the surprising mental power of routine.
Okay, let's dive right in. What is actually inside this simple grain that has nutritionists so excited? Well, as it turns out, it's packing a surprising amount of nutritional firepower.
So first off, let's be clear about what we're talking about. Oats, or if you want to get fancy, avena sativa, are a naturally gluten-free whole grain, and they're widely considered one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the entire planet. Their nutritional profile is just incredibly well balanced, with a great mix of carbs, high-quality protein, and fiber all in one spot.
And get this, just half a cup of dry oats gives you a whopping 64% of your daily manganese that's essential for things like bone health and metabolism. Plus, it's loaded with copper, B vitamins, magnesium, zinc, you name it. It's truly a mineral powerhouse that's just disguised as a simple breakfast.
But here's where things get really interesting. The secret weapon inside every single oat is a special type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. You can think of this as the active ingredient, the thing that's responsible for most of the incredible health benefits we're about to cover.
So how does this beta-glucan work its magic? Well, it forms this thick, kind of gel-like substance in your gut. And this gel literally traps bad cholesterol, helping to pull it out of your body. The result? It's pretty amazing. One study found that eating oats every day dropped bad LDL cholesterol by a remarkable 11% in just 4 weeks.
Now that same gel-like stuff from the beta-glucan, it does way more than just tackle cholesterol. It's also the secret behind why a bowl of oatmeal in the morning can keep you feeling full for so long.
You know, as dietitian Ali McGowan puts it, oats just digest slowly. What that means for you is no sudden energy spikes followed by a crash. And more importantly, it helps you manage your hunger all day long, which, let's be honest, is a huge advantage for anyone trying to maintain a healthy weight.
And the science? Oh, it backs this up big time. There was one trial that compared people eating oatmeal to people eating a standard ready-to-eat oat cereal. The results were just crystal clear. 4 hours later, the folks who ate the real oatmeal reported a 62.5% lower desire to eat again. And when lunchtime came, they ate about 85 fewer calories. That is a massive difference from just one meal.
So how in the world does this work? Well, it all comes down to viscosity, that gel-like thickness we've been talking about. It physically slows down how quickly your stomach empties its contents. That delay triggers the release of a gut hormone called peptide YY, or PYY for short, which basically sends a powerful, "Hey, I'm full" signal straight to your brain, effectively shutting down your appetite for hours. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, so it sounds like the perfect food, doesn't it? Well, not so fast. Like pretty much any food, eating oats every single day isn't without its potential downsides, and it's really important to know what to look out for.
So we have to ask the question, is it always healthy? And honestly, the answer depends. It depends on your body, the kind of oats you're choosing, and crucially, how you prepare them. So let's get into some of the potential issues.
All right, here's a quick rundown of the things to be aware of. For some people, a sudden jump in fiber can lead to, well, some bloating and gas. There's a compound called phytic acid that can interfere with mineral absorption. Then you've got issues like gluten cross-contamination, a pretty rare sensitivity to a protein in oats called avenin, and of course all the sugar they pack into those flavored instant varieties. We're going to break these down.
So first up is phytic acid. It's sometimes called an anti-nutrient, which sounds scary, but all it means is that it can latch onto minerals like iron and zinc, making them a bit harder for your body to absorb. Now, for most of us, eating a varied diet, this really isn't a big deal. But if you're on a very strict plant-based diet or you have a known mineral deficiency, it's just something to keep in mind.
Next up is avenin. Now remember, oats are naturally gluten-free, but they do contain their own unique protein called avenin.
And for a very, very small number of people, especially some with celiac disease, avenin can trigger an immune reaction that feels a lot like a gluten reaction. This is totally different from cross-contamination. It's a true, though very rare, sensitivity to the oats themselves. So, with all those potential risks in mind, how do we actually build the perfect bowl of oatmeal? One that maximizes all the good stuff while minimizing any of the potential problems. Well, it's all about being strategic.
Remember that phytic acid we just talked about? Turns out there's a ridiculously simple fix. If you soak your oats in water overnight, it activates an enzyme that actually breaks down most of the phytic acid. You don't even have to rinse them, just cook them in the morning like you normally would. This one easy step can make a huge difference in how well you absorb all those great minerals.
It's also super important to know that not all oats are created equal. Not even close. Steel-cut oats are the least processed, and they have the lowest glycemic index, which means they have a much smaller impact on your blood sugar. Rolled oats are a great middle ground option. Instant oats, though, especially those flavored packets, are often pre-cooked and can spike your blood sugar much more quickly. So the big takeaway here, stick to steel-cut or rolled for the most benefit. And finally, you can totally transform your oatmeal from just a bowl of carbs into a complete, balanced meal. Just by adding a good source of protein, think Greek yogurt or some nuts, and some healthy fats from almond butter or chia seeds, you create a meal that stabilizes your blood sugar even more and keeps you satisfied for even longer. And of course, add some berries for fiber and flavor.
All right, for our final point, let's talk about one of the most surprising benefits of a daily oatmeal habit. And this one has less to do with nutrition and everything to do with your psychology.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures this idea of decision fatigue. See, every single choice you make all day, no matter how small, uses up a little bit of your mental energy. By automating your breakfast, by not even thinking about it, you save that precious cognitive fuel for the bigger, more important stuff you'll have to deal with later. This is why a consistent, healthy breakfast is so incredibly powerful. It's more than just fuel for your body, it's a grounding ritual for your mind. It can reduce that morning stress, and it creates a mental cue that signals, okay, it's time to start a focused day. Plus, that stable blood sugar we keep talking about, it's vital for regulating your mood and setting a positive tone for the entire day ahead. So, as we wrap this up, it's pretty clear that a daily bowl of well-prepared oatmeal can be an incredibly powerful habit for both your physical and your mental health. Which really leaves us with just one final question to think about. What small, consistent routine could you introduce that might just transform your day?
So, you're eating oatmeal every morning? Let's see what that really does for your health.
Is it a superfood or is there a catch? The real story is kind of surprising.
All right, first up, the good stuff. Why does everyone love oatmeal so much anyway?
I mean, just look at this. Oats are loaded with key vitamins and minerals. A real powerhouse.
This translates to real-world benefits, like better heart health and helping you stay full.
But why does it keep you so full? Well, the secret is this one special kind of fiber. It's called beta-glucan. This stuff literally forms a gel in your stomach that slows everything down. And get this, one study showed it cut the desire to eat by over 60%.
Yeah, compared to other cereals, regular old oatmeal is just way better at curbing your appetite.
Okay, so it sounds perfect, right? Well, not so fast. There are some hidden downsides.
For some people, daily oats can cause bloating or even trigger allergies and other sensitivities.
And then there's this stuff, phytic acid. It can actually block you from absorbing minerals.
So the bottom line is balance. Mindlessly eating the same thing every day isn't always ideal.
So how do you get the good without the bad? Let's get into the game plan.
First, know your oats. The less processed types, like steel cut, are way better for your blood sugar.
And that phytic acid, just soak your oats overnight before you cook them. Problem solved.
And please, watch your toppings. Don't turn a healthy meal into a straight-up sugar bomb. But hang on, there's another huge benefit here, and it has nothing to do with nutrition.
It cuts down on decision fatigue. You save that precious brain power for the big stuff.
So what will your morning routine be? It's about fueling your body and your mind.